Oh my god, I totally wasn't expecting you. I need to consult my studio manager before I can let you in. Excuse me, sir. Can we let them in to give a studio tour? Is it okay? Yeah? Okay, can you smile? Smile! So, welcome to my humble home studio. I just thought that in light of the move that's happening in a couple months, that I wanted to archive this space that I've created for myself. And honestly, it's been a dream come true to have a space like this. When I started doing my music and sound design work, I was working out of my bedroom in my parents' house, and then we had a couple rental places. And so to have the privilege to be able to create a room like this was a dream come true. And now I'm gonna be leaving it, and I'm gonna miss it a lot. And obviously we're gonna be renting a place in the UK, so I'm not gonna have the luxury of all these things. I'm gonna sell a lot of these things. So yeah, I wanted to immortalize this room before it all disappears. Where should we begin? This is a bedroom in what you would call a typical HDB flat here in Singapore. So it's not super big, it's about 3 meters by 3 meters-ish. One of the first things that I knew I wanted to do was to get the doors and the windows completely soundproof, or as soundproof as they could be. So I reached out to this company, Plaster, not a sponsor, but they, we did this beautiful, what's the word? Double pane glass door. So this is a soundproof door, and then similar with the windows, which you can't see right now, but they were changed out for soundproof windows. Obviously, it's not 100% because, as you can tell, these walls... Oh, speaking of which, let me introduce my studio managers. This is Rhea, and this is Reno. Reno, say hi to the camera. And they just always need to be in the room whenever I'm in the room, so here they are. But yeah, as I was saying, these walls are partition walls, so just by virtue of that, you're never gonna get a complete soundproofing, but it's been a lifesaver in general, even with like the 80-90% soundproofing, because it allows my wife or anyone outside to be, not have to tiptoe around while I'm recording something in here. Likewise for the windows, it blocks the noise outside, it blocks my music from disturbing the neighbors, and I can work late at night, and Janine can be outside and she's not affected, so no regrets on that. I guess the other aspect of the room treatment of these panels, so these are just typical acoustic panels. Shout out to Eka, which was the company that made these, so I have a few on the ceiling as well. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people make these on their own, DIY. That was not something I considered. I did make something in this room though, which we will get to later on in the video, but no, not these panels. I were fully just ordered, custom ordered, and they installed them beautifully. And yeah, this room is pretty dead and works great for me. Where should we go to next? Okay, so let's start on this side of the room with these guitars. I have a lot of guitars, and I'm not really that much of a guitar player. I am definitely more of an acoustic player, but I have quite a few electric guitars. And the reason for that is I was very fortunate to, I can't fully disclose the details, but somebody managed to finagle a situation where I got a bunch of guitars for free, and that's all I'll say. But yeah, these are sort of my main instruments. I'll go through them one by one. This is an Epiphone Casino Coupe. This actually was given to me by my ex-bandmate who left Singapore to the UK, but I think now he's in Los Angeles. Shout out Davey. And so he couldn't bring this with him, and so he passed it to me sort of temporarily, and then temporarily became permanently, and now it's mine. Love this guitar. Relatively inexpensive, but it's just, I think because I'm an acoustic player, there's something about a semi-hollow and the way that it resonates that I really enjoy. This is my main axe, my main guitar. This is a Taylor 814 CE. I love this guitar to death. I've played it to death. It's beaten up. It's a crazy story behind this guitar that I don't have the time to get into, but I basically got it at a ridiculous price because I almost got scammed on Carousel. Then it's too long a story, but I love this guitar to death. I will never ever sell this guitar. It has these beautiful upgraded ebony tuning heads that the previous owner upgraded them, I didn't do it. And yeah, this is my baby and I will never sell it. Next guitar. This is a guitar that I don't really play much, but I think it's a super cool guitar. It's a Japanese brand called Morris. Honestly, I never heard of it before I got this guitar, but it's a 12 string. And as you can tell by the strange position of the pickguard, it was originally a left-handed guitar. I am not left-handed, and so instead of giving it to a left-hander, I was very selfish and was like, no, I'm just going to turn it into a right-hand guitar. So I brought it to a luthier or just a guitar tech, and they helped to kind of reconfigure it and set it up to be a right-handed guitar. And so all the fret markings are on the wrong side, they're at the bottom, so that's fun. But yeah, you know, it's just really cool to have a 12 string on hand whenever you need it, which is not very often. But yeah. Next on the rack. Hello, Mr. Man, would you like to, how about you go there? There's a lot of space there, thank you. You want to go outside? That's a great idea. You should go outside. Bye. Next on the rack is a bass. I am not a bass player at all. My brother is a fantastic bass player, but this was one of the guitars that I managed to mysteriously get for free. So when I do need to track bass or record bass, I love this bass because it's a short scale and it's a guitar player that works great for me. I'm a lot more comfortable playing a short scale bass, and so this is a Fender Mustang, made in Mexico, I believe. Yeah, and yeah, it's just a very nifty, easy bass. This is my main electric guitar, other than the Casino Coupe. Obviously, Strats are super versatile, so if I ever need to just lay down anything for a demo or for a track, this is typically the guitar I reach for. Yeah, it's an American Strat. I believe it's a Performer Strat. I forget which year it's from, but this was also in the mysterious guitars I got for free, so that's why I don't know too much about it, but it plays great, I love it, and so yeah, cool guitar. Okay. Where to next? Where to next? This is just a shelf of things. Not too much to say about it, except you see I have quite a few comic books, and I want to clarify that, you know, it makes it look like I read a lot. I really don't, because I have a podcast called Comic Sans, in which my whole thing is that I'm the sans part, but I know nothing about comics. And so that's the reason why I have all these graphic novels and comics, because it's what we read on the episodes. But I do go on to read a lot of these in entirety if I do enjoy them. Speaking of Comic Sans, you know, we are little comic journals. If you want to grab these, I'll put a link in the description. But yeah, we sell these comic journals if you want to start making your own comics. Wow, product placement, wasn't expecting that. Oh, I think there's one that I made in an episode where we made let me find it. Oh, here it is. See? I made a comic. If you want to see what this is about, no, don't look, it's a secret. You can check out the episode on that. I believe it's on YouTube. I'll link it in the description below as well. But yeah, this is just a bunch of stuff. Guitar strings, more books, a random Focusrite 2i2, lots of cables here. I love this pegboard. I'm going to miss it a lot. Ukulele. This is a really boring tour, huh? I also have this basket of percussion, as you can see. The shaker. This, I don't know what these are, but I love the sound it makes. I got this in Bali. Jingly jangly. This is one of those, you know, it's insane, dude, this sound. Let's move on. So over here, there's a little setup happening because we are in the midst of recording a audiobook project that I can't disclose too much about right now. However, there is an Easter egg somewhere there if you look hard enough. But yeah, so that's why this mic is set up. But just as well, because I can show you my favorite microphone. This is my Warm Audio 251, which is a tube microphone. It's such a warm tone, pun not intended. Really just out of the gate, even before any mixing, it just gives a great vocal tone, which is great for the kind of things that I do here, like this audiobook. I have a couple other microphones, which I can whip out. Let me see what we got in here. This is a AKG C214. This was my first ever condenser microphone that I got when I was like, I want to say 18 or 19. So it's beaten up to death, and it's a very beginner-friendly introduction condenser, but I keep it because it's sentimental. My first ever proper microphone. What else do we have in here? We have SM57, of course. SM58, of course. SM7B, of course. The Shure trilogy, no, not trilogy, the Shure trifecta, the Shure trifecta. And lastly, I have a Rode, what is this? A Rode NT-G4 Plus, made in Australia. This is just a shotgun microphone because I do a lot of sound design work, so this is just something I use if I ever need to do like some Foley or something a little bit more directional and focused. Oh, speaking of guitars, there are 3 more guitars that I'm not going to take out, but they're over there. Just guitars that I don't use that much. The first is a Fender Mustang, also Mexican. It's a Mexican-made Mustang. Actually, you know what? I love the idea of a Mustang. This was also in the mysterious guitar hall that I can't tell you about, but I took it because I was like, oh, I love the idea of like being a frontman of some like indie band like 1975 and playing my Fender Mustang, but yeah, it just never happened. And so I just don't really play this guitar because in terms of versatility, it has a very specific sound that I don't really need that much in my work. So I use the Strat and the Epiphone a lot more, but I do love a Mustang. It is beautiful. Look at this. Look at this marbling on the headstock. Beautiful. The other 2 guitars there, one is a nylon string classical that belongs to my friend, shout out Yemi. I took it from his house because he moved to New York and I clearly have not looked after it. 2 of the strings are broken. And then there's one more Mexican Stratocaster behind there that I never used, but that was my first proper electric guitar. It weighs a ton and it has faded from this beautiful blizzard pearl to this piss gold. So it's not great to look at and it's not great to listen to. I guess the only thing left is the desk. So I alluded to the fact that there was something in this room that I built or helped to build, which is this desk. And I want to shout out the man who actually did most of the building, the man behind the camera. Come. Everyone say hello to my wonderful friend, Ziad Bagarib.
Hello.
This is the man that built the desk.
Yay.
Did you enjoy building the desk, Ziad?
I did. It was quite a geometric challenge because there were a lot of funny angles, but Nat was very clear on the design that he wanted, so it was very easy to know what the final vision was and just slowly take the steps to it.
I was very clear on the design that I wanted to plagiarize.
Yes, exactly. Shout out to that brand that we won't
Output.
name. Okay, fine.
Which we'll get to know. I mean, everyone knows it's the output.
knows.
Everyone knows it's the output desk.
Everyone who knows anything knows it's.
But yeah, so when I started thinking about this studio and how I wanted it to look, I spent a lot on the soundproofing and the sound treatment. And so I didn't want to spend another huge bomb on a studio desk. And so I had this grand idea to reach out to my buddy Ziad, who is a carpenter, and to make my own desk. And it was fun. I'll throw in some photos of us building it. I think we have some photos, right? Yeah, so it's a carbon copy of the Output Studio desk. As you can see, it has the units for rack-mounted gear, which I have not utilized at all. The thing is, when I was coming up with the studio, at that point of time, I was doing a bit more mixing, music production, and so I had this whole idea that I was going to start collecting outboard gear. I even have stashed away, there is a whole pile of rack mounts that I was supposed to attach to the side of these holes. Never got around to it because I only have one piece of outboard gear, which is a Warm Audio 1176. I love it. I use it for recording vocals and bass and things like that. But yeah, that's the only piece of outboard gear I ended up collecting because I pivoted to more sound design and more songwriting and musical theater writing. You can watch my previous video if you want to know more about that journey. And so yeah, I just didn't need outboard gear. And I think in hindsight, I would have made or bought a much smaller desk. This desk is huge. I do not need such a big desk, and I would have loved to be able to have a bigger sofa. I mean, look at this cute sofa. It's so cute. My main gripe with this sofa is that I can't take naps on it. Like, I've wanted to nap in this room so many times when, like, you know, you're like editing for like 3 hours, you just want to lie down, and you just can't lie down on this sofa. So that's a learning point. If you're building a studio, make sure you make room for a sofa large enough that you can sleep on. Really vital. Yeah, so in hindsight, I would have gone for a smaller desk, but this was still a super fun project to work with Ziad on. It has a keyboard tray. This is my MIDI keyboard, my MIDI controller. It's a Native Instruments A61, I believe. In hindsight, I would have got 88 keys because that's kind of important when you are writing, especially for musical theater, to have the full range. So these are all things that I will bear in mind as I head over to the UK and build a new makeshift studio there. I'll be probably getting a new keyboard, a new desk, Yeah, and trying to make a new studio which will almost certainly pale in comparison to this in terms of treatment and everything, but we shall make do. Okay, in terms of what's on the desk, first and foremost, Ayataka Japanese green tea, Minuman Teh Hijau Jepun. Not a sponsor. I wish it was a sponsor. I drink this every day. It's like a constant stock of like 24 cans in my fridge at all times. Shout out Authentic Tea House. Thank you. Next, audio interface. This is my Audient ID44. I got this like, I want to say 8 years ago. I love it. It's just so freaking robust. This metal build, no plastic. I mean, the knobs are plastic, but you know what I mean. And I just love real buttons, man. Like, you know, all these new fancy interfaces coming out with like touch screens and soft touch controls. No, give me switches. So I love it. I love this interface. The sound is excellent. Not gonna upgrade anytime soon, I believe. My computer is a MacBook Pro M2. Got a great deal in it through Apple, the Apple refurbished store. Highly recommend if you're ever looking for a new MacBook, get it from the refurbished store. There are always great deals there. Let's talk about monitors. Monitors, both audio and visual. So starting on the outside, my main studio monitors are the Output Frontier. Although I believe Output has now sold the manufacturing and distribution of these speakers to Defy, D-E-F-I, I believe. But yeah, the funny story about these is I was actually going on the Output website frequently to try to get the measurements and dimensions of the desk so that we could plagiarize it. And there was one day that I was going on the website, you know, and then I saw that they just announced the pre-order for these brand new speakers. And at the time, when I was thinking about what speakers I wanted to get, I was really interested in the Barefoot Audio speakers, but they're just way out of my budget range, and so it was like a dream. And then I saw when Output announced these, that these were actually designed by Barefoot Audio. And so I was like, oh my god, it's a sign. And so I put my email down for the pre-order, and I parallel shipped them from the US to Singapore once they were out. So I believe I must have been the first person in Singapore, maybe even the region, to get my hands on these speakers. But they now sell them. There's a shop in Singapore that sells them, so I'm not so special anymore. But I love these speakers. They look beautiful. They sound great. No complaints about them. Shout out to my cactus there. I've never watered this in my life. And look at it. It's like sprouting new baby cactuses. Cacti? Cacti. My second set of speakers, these are the JBL, I believe 305P, I want to say. I just use these as a second set of monitors just to compare mixers if I ever am doing mixers, which is not very often nowadays. But yeah, it's just nice to have a second set to listen to. This is a tray of oddities, of things that I found, mostly on the ground. This is a crab I found at the beach. We were doing an intertidal walk with like a tour guide, and we saw this in the sand, and we all stopped and we were like, oh my god, look at this crab, what a vibrant blue. And we thought it was dead, but we were just so amazed by the vibrant colors, and then I picked it up and it was made of plastic, so there's that. I found this on the floor as well, ladybug, great. Oh, okay, so then visual monitor. Man, this is a crazy monitor. Look at it. So obviously, as you can tell with my setup, I can't go wide, but I wanted more real estate. And so I discovered through some research this incredible monitor by LG. I believe the name is like Dual Up or something. It basically gives me like 3 16:9 screens, right? Because it's basically two 16:9 screens stacked on top of each other, and then plus my laptop. And so that allows me to, you know, if I'm sound designing a film or something, I can have the film down here usually, and then I have my Logic session here, and then whatever like browser stuff up there. Another great piece of desk gear that I strongly recommend, this overhead desk lamp, I believe by BenQ. Oh no, wait, this is Xiaomi, by Xiaomi. I love it. It comes with this wireless controller that allows me to adjust both the brightness and the warmth of the light. And it's great. And this thing, I mean, it's been like 4 years now, and this thing has never run out of battery. I don't know how it works. Does it have batteries? Who knows? What else we got here? Picks. Guitar picks. Capos. Yeah, all the good stuff, man. Oh! Pedal board. I'm not gonna take it out. That's my pedal board. Again, I am not really an electric guitar player, But I did have a phase in my teenage years where I was obsessed with gear and was buying pedals with my very limited money that I was earning from the military because I was in national service. And so those are the pedals from that period of my life. And I've just not bought any pedals in the last decade, really. So yeah, that's my studio. I guess in light of the move to the UK happening very soon, I've been thinking a lot about the lessons I've learned in building this space and what I want to bring forward to my next space, which will obviously be a lot more temporary, a lot more makeshift. But I think some of the key things that I've learned building this studio in this space is, one, I do not need such a big desk. So in my new space in the UK, I will be looking to get a much more compact desk. And then the other side of that coin is I need a much bigger sofa, as I already mentioned. So that will be high on my priority to get at least a 3-seater sofa that I can comfortably lie down in, because sleep is important in a studio. Because rest is important in a studio. The third learning point is I'm definitely going to get a bigger keyboard. I think just for the work that I'm doing in this stage of my life, which is a lot more composing, I'm basically primarily recording demos for the songs that I'm writing for musicals. So to have an 88 keyboard, ideally with weighted keys, would be really, really nice. And so that's something that I'll be looking to get in the UK as well. And the last thing, which is not really a regret for this room, because I think just given the nature of the space, I hope that in my next studio space, I'll be able to have some like natural light. Because you can tell, the window in this room is behind the desk, so I can never reach it. And then so I just keep this curtain drawn. I would love to have a window with natural light coming in my next space. So fingers crossed that's possible. It's gonna be bittersweet to say goodbye. I mean, I don't know necessarily if I'm leaving it permanently. It very much depends how long we end up staying in the UK. I mean, I will be selling / loaning a lot of my gear out to friends and only bringing with me the essentials, like my laptop, my interface, maybe the compressor, and 2 guitars, and a couple mics. I think that's really all that I'll be bringing, and everything else will either be kept in storage, sold, or loaned to friends. But yeah, I'm gonna miss this space a lot. I've done a lot of things here. I've basically written a whole musical here. I've sound designed multiple audio drama shows here, recorded shows here, recording an audio book here right now. And I think I'm always gonna hold those memories of those projects in my heart. Rhea, are you gonna miss the studio? Yeah? Yeah, thanks for joining me in this short little studio tour. If you wanna follow along my journey as I move out of this space and into a new space in a new country, you can hit the subscribe button. If you have any suggestions or advice on what I should be thinking about or paying attention to as I sort of downgrade my studio to a more portable and makeshift setup in the UK, please feel free to drop a comment, let me know. And yeah, I'm excited about a new space and new beginnings. Ayataka, Japanese green tea drink. Please sponsor me, please. Please sponsor me. It's good?
I think so. Okay, bye.
What do you know? No, stop. Oh, this photo is so good. Look at this photo. Yeah. Let's go.